In Senegal, where hope was recently restored through the ballot box, a silent storm is beginning to rise. Just months after the historic election that brought President Bassirou Diomaye Faye into power and restored Ousmane Sonko to political relevance, cracks are now appearing in the unity that once looked unshakable. The very partnership that inspired millions across West Africa is now at risk of falling apart. At the center of it all, Prime Minister Ousmane Sonko and President Diomaye Faye, two men who stood side by side against a powerful system, now seemingly drifting in different directions. What we are witnessing may not be open warfare, but behind the scenes, Senegal's most powerful political duo appears to be locking horns, and the consequences could echo far beyond Dakar. To understand what's happening now, we must go back to the struggle that gave birth to this new era. Ousmane Sonko, leader of the PASTEF party, was not always a politician. He was a civil servant, a tax inspector, who got tired of watching corrupt officials enrich themselves while Senegalese youth remained unemployed and frustrated. He called out the system for what it was, a neo-colonial project fueled by corruption and French control. He spoke the language of the masses, clear, fearless, Pan-African, and they loved him for it. But that love became a threat to the establishment. Under former President Macky Sall, Sonko was seen as too dangerous. His rising popularity scared the regime, especially as elections approached. And so, they went after him. First, he was accused of rape, a case many in Senegal and around the region viewed as politically motivated. Then came a defamation case, then another charge for corrupting youth. The goal was simple: stop Sonko from running in the 2024 elections. And it worked, at least temporarily. Sonko was disqualified, but the regime made one major miscalculation. They thought removing him would kill the revolution. Instead, Sonko did something unexpected. From behind bars, he chose a successor. He pointed to his deputy, fellow political prisoner Bassirou Diomaye Faye, and said, "This is the man who will carry the torch." And the people listened. The streets of Senegal erupted in support. Youth groups mobilized. Social media was ablaze. Even from prison, Sonko's voice echoed louder than Macky Sall's entire government. And when the elections came, Diomaye Faye won by a landslide. It was a slap in the face to the old political order. The youth had chosen sovereignty over submission, dignity over dependence. The revolution had entered the presidency. As a sign of loyalty, President Diomaye appointed Sonko as prime minister. The duo that built the movement was now leading the country. But governing is not campaigning, and the transition from opposition to leadership comes with challenges that no rally can prepare you for. In recent weeks, tension has started to build between the president and his prime minister. Sonko, known for his fiery speeches and bold stance against imperialism, has been openly critical of the government's slow pace. He believes that some of the revolutionary goals they promised are being watered down. In his public addresses, Sonko has hinted that certain policies are falling short and that compromises are being made behind closed doors. At the same time, Sonko has been seen meeting with international investors and giving strong political speeches without the president's involvement. To some, this looks like a prime minister trying to reclaim the spotlight. To others, it's Sonko simply being who he's always been: outspoken, uncompromising, and unapologetically Pan-African. But inside the corridors of power, this dynamic is causing unease. Sources close to the administration suggest that Diomaye and Sonko are no longer operating with the same level of coordination. Factions are beginning to form within the ruling party. Some members are fully aligned with Sonko's hardline revolutionary approach, while others believe Diomaye's calmer, more diplomatic style is what Senegal needs to maintain stability. The situation is delicate. President Diomaye Faye has remained composed in public. His focus has been on stabilizing the economy, renegotiating debt, and ensuring Senegal maintains peace both internally and with foreign partners. He wants to rebuild institutions that have been damaged over decades, and he knows that sudden drastic changes could destabilize the country. Sonko, on the other hand, believes the revolution must be implemented in full, now. He wants to move fast on currency independence, remove foreign military bases, and cancel unjust agreements signed with the West. In his view, any delay risks betraying the people who fought, bled, and died for change. It's a difference in approach, but it may also be a clash of ego and vision. And this is where the risk lies. Across West Africa, we've seen similar stories. Revolutionary movements rise, only to fall apart from internal conflict. In Guinea, Mali, even in Burkina Faso, personal ambitions, foreign interference, and pressure from elites often derail the change people voted for. The question now is, will Senegal fall into that same trap? Ousmane Sonko and Diomaye Faye are not enemies. They are both children of struggle. They were jailed together. They believed in the same vision. But that shared history does not guarantee a shared future. Some analysts believe Sonko is already positioning himself for a presidential run in 2029. Others say he never truly gave up control of the movement, that Faye's presidency was just a bridge. Whatever the truth is, the Senegalese people are beginning to notice the tension. And it's making them nervous. Many fear that if Sonko and Faye split, the door will open for the old political elites to return. The same elites who sold Senegal's resources, who bowed to France and the IMF, who silenced the youth and jailed dissenters. Those forces are not gone. They are waiting. Already, former regime members are speaking up. The French media is watching closely. International investors are getting jittery. They all want to know, is Senegal's revolution collapsing from within? But there is still hope. Sonko and Faye have a chance to prove that two revolutionaries can work together in power, that it is possible to balance radical change with responsible leadership, that Pan-Africanism is not just a campaign slogan, but a real system of governance. If they succeed, Senegal could become the blueprint for democratic revolution in Africa. But if they fail, it will be a painful reminder of how easily dreams can die after victory. At Gambia Kibarro Network, we've been following this story closely, not just because Senegal is our neighbor, but because what happens there affects us all. Senegal's youth have inspired the continent. They showed that political change is possible without a gun, that unity and strategy can defeat corruption and foreign control. But they also remind us of how fragile that victory can be. Revolution is not a destination. It's a responsibility. Ousmane Sonko must remember that the people trusted him not just to start the fire, but to control it. President Diomaye Faye must remember that his presidency was built on sacrifice, not silence. And the Senegalese people must continue to hold both men accountable, without fear, without favoritism, and without forgetting the struggle that brought them this far. To our amazing followers and subscribers here at Gambia Kibarro Network, we thank you for staying informed and engaged. Your support keeps us going. If you believe in African voices telling African stories, please subscribe, like, and consider showing love through the Super Thanks button. Because we don't just report the news, we defend the truth. Back in Dakar, the drums of politics continue to beat. Sonko and Diomaye may still find a path forward. But time is ticking, the revolution is watching, and Africa is waiting. This has been Gambia Kibarro Network, where truth meets justice, and the people always come first. Stay tuned, stay woke, and stay proud.